Welcome to Sailing Avanti. We are Gerard and Jacqueline, sailing our 41-foot monohull Avanti around the world from Cape Town, South Africa.
We are currently exploring the Kunayala Islands, or the northern part of Blas. Last week, we started measuring our mainsail on the beach, which is not looking its best. This week, we'll continue west. We get a bump in the night and catch a strange looking fish. And we've got some awesome views to show you. We've got two fish again. Splash, splash. Two nice sizes.
What's this good?
Can you see? Bonito! Two bonitos, yep. Oh yeah, that's not a bonito. Wow, what is it? Two of them.
So we've googled and it seems like it's Spanish mackerel, quite a good size as well. So we had 3 on and we lost one with a hook, unfortunately. But yeah, they fill it really easy. We watched the YouTube video and it's really good meat. You can see there's 2 fillets cut in the bucket already. So the second one will be cut now. So yeah, happy days.
Our arrival on Chimmy Island was just in time to catch the veggie boat. There are schedules for these boats, but over the festive season we were just happy to find one. We grabbed all these veggies for $15 US.
Last night we woke up in the anchorage. I had a boat that was very close to us, the boat's engine, and I stuck my head out of the hatch and I saw a boat right next to us, like on us, and a few seconds after that the boat actually hit us on the bow, and it looked like it was the Coast Guard with a massive torch. So I'm not sure what happened. They just ignored us after hitting us and they went further on. It looked like they were looking for somebody. They had a big torch. It was like just after 12, I think, at night. So yeah, the hit was light and I need to go and check the bow now. I checked last night but I couldn't really see any damage, luckily. So I'm not sure if they just hit our anchor chain or if they actually hit the bow or the bowsprit. But very weird, they just kept on going and didn't stop or talk to us or anything. So yeah, pretty strange. So I've just checked the bow and there's just a little mark on the stainless steel strip that runs right on the bow that kind of supports our bow roller. So really minimal damage, and the bowsprit support also has a bit of, you can see their engine paint came off. So it was a really light hit, luckily, and no real damage for us. I think more damage for them. But still strange that they just carried on and didn't even bother to talk to us.
Chimmy Anchorage is very well protected and looks quite small on the charts, but in real life there's actually a lot of boats that can fit in here. It's well loved between surfers as well, because of it's shallow enough for them to anchor their dinghies and then paddle out to the break. As we leave, you can see a big wreck as well. On the few days of the year that the swell is quite small, it offers great snorkeling, which we sadly missed. We're on our way to Jan Saladup, or Kuna House Island, which is friends of ours' favourite anchorage in these islands. Pacific offered to go in first as they have the aluminium hull, and it looked tricky to enter. In reality, it was well marked on the Bauhaus charts as well as Navionics, and over the heat of the day we could clearly see where to go.
We're back in Los Roques. So we at Jan Saladup anchorage, and it's really cool. There's a little sand spot I think that's what they call Kuna House. There's nothing left on the island. There's an island behind us, but we believe there's like backpackers. You can stay there, and maybe a restaurant. And we're only 3 boats in the anchorage, so the wind has died down. This morning it was quite strong, but it's perfect now.
We love finding young barracudas in shallow waters like this, as well as baby conchs. These waters are not nearly as full with fish and conch as we found in Los Roques a few months ago. It seems like there's less of a conservation effort here than what we found there. Or maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's still beautiful, and the only thing that could have made this day better would have been a cold beer for the men and a mojito for us. Next on our day's list was to stop at the hotel on the island. The guard dog or welcoming party greeted us on the dock and showed us where to go. When staying on these islands, all meals are included and the rooms are very basic, but the views are unmatchable. Most of the islands we have seen so far have either been abandoned or just had one family living there, nothing else. But the more west we seem to go, the more Western influence is found in these villages and even more tourists. Sunset means going back to the boat and get ready for dinner on Avanti with friends. We've been traveling together for about 6 months, and dinner with a game of brandy dog was the end of many days for us, and our time together was coming to an end. With the winds taking us to the Pacific and the winds taking them back to Europe.
Welcome.
The next morning the weather wasn't great, but we still wanted to go for one last snorkel before heading south to pick up my aunt. It was overcast, cool, and strong currents pulling us in all directions. Luckily, Florina and I were back on the dinghy when Gerard and Ramon found another nurse shark. What a stunning sunset we had for our second wedding anniversary, and we had a special meal, just the two of us.
Today I'm doing some rigging checks while we're sailing. Some I can just do while the Genoa is completely unfurled. So it's ideal when the wind's light and the Genoa is out. So there's some bolts here along the furling gear that I need to check. I saw one of them that was loose a while ago, and yeah, I'll just tighten them up now that I have a chance. All good.
After picking up my aunt, who's also my godmother, from one of the southern islands close to mainland, we had an upwind motor to a calm anchorage, close to an island called Cambopia. On our way, we passed by a local sailing boat making great speed with its tiny sail. Cambopia is well protected and has a stunning clean beach, perfect to complete the measurements of our mainsail. Last week we started measuring by taking the sail to the beach. It's starting to tear just by touching a fold, and it's time to get quotes for fixing versus a new sail, and we need exact measurements to do this.
We start by measuring the maximum foot length. We use a normal tape measure for this, and luckily we had a 5-meter tape measure on board with a maximum foot length of about 4.5 meters. For the maximum luff length and the maximum leech length, we don't have a long enough tape measure. So we hoist up a halyard all the way to the top of the mast, and we make a mark or two on the halyard with some insulation tape so that we can bring the halyard down and measure it on the deck with the measuring tape. We make sure that we use Dyneema for this, otherwise the lines might stretch and the measurement might be inaccurate. Most sail makers has a standard spreadsheet that you can use to measure your rig so that they can design a sail that fits the boat. Luckily we could also measure our old sail and compare the rig measurements with our old sail measurements to make 100% sure that if we do order a new sail, it will actually fit. There is obviously a risk of getting a measurement wrong and then getting a sail delivered that might not fit the boat. After a lot of debating and a lot of discussions, we eventually decided that we're going to buy a new sail. The old one is just in such a state that we don't know if we'll make Australia with it, and if we buy one now, we at least get the Pacific and the Indian crossing out of it. So I think for us we're more comfortable buying a new one, and we've decided to buy one via Ullman Sales in Cape Town. There is a salesman that we know very well, and they also made our Genoa for our boat, so they know the boat quite well as well, and they had a very good price for us, the best price we could get from all the quotes that we did gather. So yeah, we decided to go for that. It is obviously a massive expense that we didn't really plan for, so it is a big decision, and it's not an easy one. But yeah, if we do decide not to go with the new sail and we use the old one, we might get to French Polynesia and then it might be in a very bad state. So we'd rather buy a sail in Panama than doing it out in islands where we don't know what facilities are around.
So they're going to start making it in January, as soon as everyone's back in the office, and then they should have it via flight in Panama hopefully the first week of February.
Yeah, ideally we should have ordered it sooner, but we really thought that the sail would still make it. So if we ordered it sooner, they could actually send it via ship and the shipping cost would be much cheaper. But because of our time limit here, if we have to wait for it, we will only get sailing towards French Polynesia quite late, probably in March. And there's so many delays in terms of the shipping these days. So we are going to air freight it. Luckily for us, because they are exporting the sail out of South Africa, we don't pay tax in South Africa. And because it's for a yacht in transit in Panama, there's no tax or duties, just a custom clearance fee that we have to pay. So we are at least saving a lot on the taxes, which will help to cover the air freight, which is a little bit more expensive than the shipping.
So we'll have a new sail soon.
Yeah, hopefully it all fits and it works. The one risk is obviously using our old battens, but we've double and triple checked the measurements. So yeah, we can just hope when it arrives it all fits and the old battens work. We also need to fit our old batten boxes, so fingers crossed. But yeah, we're excited to get some new white material on the mast. Thank you for watching this episode. Next week on Sailing Avanti, we spend Christmas with some fellow cruisers and we do some of the best snorkeling in San Blas to date. It's a real good one.
Please leave us a like, a comment, or subscribe if you enjoyed this week's episode. Thank you to our patrons who support the making of these videos with a small donation monthly. You can join them by clicking in the description below.